All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Bracket Up, where we rank the mundane to the slightly less mundane. Today, our topic is way down the mundane scale. It's the dumbest Riverdale plot line. We've been pestering Andy Misek to make this for about 6 months now. He's our local Riverdale fan.
Let's be honest. I wanted to do it, but I knew Dave and Julian didn't want to hear it. You pestered me to do it.
I just wanted to get it off the list.
For yourself, sir.
I'm game to talk about it. There's a lot of stupid shit going on.
I have no knowledge of Riverdale except for what Andy has tried to sell me on and failed miserably the last few years he's been watching it. I think Dave's got some experience. I'm not sure about Julian and Tom though. So for most of us, this is going to be a brand new barrage into this goofy ass fucking world.
To be fair, it's a bad show, but there's so much stupid shit going on and intersecting that doesn't make sense that it's fun to talk about. I watch it because you never know what's going to happen next. Literally, there's a Mothman now.
You always say that's a bad show, and it's like 100+ episodes in, and it's still rolling, and it's gonna roll for the future, man.
It's got its 6th season renewed. It's one of CW's highest rated shows in terms of viewership. I don't get it, but I'm aboard. Choo choo.
All right. So with that idea, we figured since Andy knows the most, he would create a little PowerPoint presentation, Google Slides, whatever the hell you want to call it. There it is, the Riverdale dumbest plot points / plot lines, and he's going to walk us through it. We'll vote on them and eventually come up with the worst one. So we know that Andy Misek, the man with the best name in the whole wide world, is taking over today's recording. But we've also got the Giggle King himself, Julian Griffin, ready to use that smile to light up the world and light up this podcast. I'm ready.
So ready. Mm-hmm.
You sound ready.
Yep. I prayed to Jesus for this so much. He answered.
All right. Well, underneath Julian, we've got Greek Lightning himself, Tom Kairos. Tom, I'm sure you're just as excited as Julian is.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'll know a few of these from previous conversations, so this might be a little bit of a refresher and something new.
All right. That's that positive attitude I wanted to hear from Julian.
Yeah, I wish Julian would just put on a damn fucking smile.
Tom is a better person than all of us. Have we not gotten to this point yet? Tom is better than each and every single one of us.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
I mean, I'm aboard that.
All right, Tom, you're overruled 4-1. And then finally, Dave, Red Dead, Holloway, Redemption, whatever the fuck. I fucked that up. I'm sorry, Dave.
That's fine. Not a fan of Riverdale, so
no.
I don't know if he'll get into it, but
just put on a smile.
All right, so Andy, I will turn it over to you to walk us through this bad boy.
All right, so for people watching on YouTube, we're gonna go all the way to the current episode. There will be spoilers for season 5, episode 10. I don't know who watches it, but
What do you think? Hold on. What do you think they're reacting to here?
I know exactly what they're reacting to. It's the
everyone else.
2 girls, 1 cup.
Do you know, Dave? I don't think he got. What is it?
No, isn't this the first season finale?
It might be. I thought it was. Yeah, you're right.
This is them reacting to a murder video.
Yeah, okay, that is what it is. I thought what it was is at the end of season 4, there's a video of people wearing the characters' faces from the comic book and murdering someone.
Well, okay.
Real quick, who are these 5 characters? Are these?
I'm glad you asked. I have character sheets.
Oh, fuck.
It's quick. So this is Jughead. He's kind of like the main character of the show. He's a weirdo. He's like really into like murder and like mystery. He's a writer, and he's in a gang that he reluctantly joined that his father was the head of, and then he made them do non-gang things like no murder or no defending your territory because that's bad. No drugs. Dated Betty, which is one of the main characters. He has a random stepbrother as well. And then there's a time skip of 7 years, and in that time, he's an author, a drug addict, and in debt to loan sharks. This is his dad. He was the head of the gang at one point. He quit the gang when Jughead took over, and then he became the sheriff. Then he just left town.
Okay.
Pretty much all you need to know.
Is he not in the seasons anymore then?
Nope, he lives in Ohio, the worst state of all time.
Okay, so he's just gone from the show.
Yeah, at the 7-year time skip, he's gone. Gladys and Jellybean are Archie's long-lost mom and sister. They're basically kind of like, they come in as, they're trying to turn in Jughead for reward money when Archie's on the run from prison. We'll get to that later. And then they'd be like, oh, you know what? We're family. And then they all live together for a while, and then they end up moving to Ohio.
Ohio is such a theme in this show.
Yeah, I'm only going over the characters because there's going to be a lot of character talk. So if you could put a face and kind of a couple bullet points to them. Betty, she's the girl next door to Archie, also into murder, so much so that it's determined she has the murder gene.
Okay.
She has a crush on Archie, but then dates Jughead. She's like related to everyone in the show, so there's like a long lost brother that kind of connects her and her boyfriend. She's cousins to Cheryl, who's another main character, just like a big fucking mess. And then in 7 years, she's an FBI agent who is going through trauma because she was tortured for 3 months by somebody called the Trash Bag Killer.
So intimidating.
And then this is her alter ego, Dark Betty. We have a whole thing on her. Just know it's kind of like her weird, kinky, wears a black wig side.
Okay.
Her mom, Alice, she's the mom. She's like kind of a stick in the mud, but also like gets oddly involved in every fucking storyline.
He was in Twin Peaks.
She's in the better version of the show.
Yes.
Hey, I know it's a better version of the show. Yeah, but she was married to this guy Hal, but he ended up being the Black Hood, whose goal was to cleanse the town through murder. But he's dead now, and she's now dating Jughead's father, which is weird because Betty, her daughter, is dating Jughead.
Oh God.
It's a weird triangle. But she did not move to Ohio, so she's in season 5. Polly, twin sister. All you need to know is she's basically like she's Betty's sister, dated Jason, which is like the main murder of season 1. Has children in that relationship, but it turns out Jason and Polly were cousins, so she was sent to a farm or sent to like a camp for incestuous love. It was like punishment. 7 years later, she's into drugs and gangs, and she's on the run, possibly murdered. We don't know yet. This is fake brother Chick. He comes in, says he's Betty's long lost brother, but turns out he's a bad guy, and he's not really the brother. And there's like a whole storyline with him, which I think we cover. Charles, the real brother, he's the stepbrother to Betty and Jughead, which is that weird connection where it's like, hey, these two are dating and also share a brother. So he is the son of FP and Alice. And you need to know these characters because there is a major storyline we're going to talk about that involves them. But yeah, they are actually lovers as well, Charles and Chick.
Okay.
Archie, redhead kid.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm going to go through him quick. He's
This is
basically...
like more than Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I know. Basically the main character. He's I don't want to go too much into him because he basically is in every storyline we talk about. But just know, this is Archie. This is his dad, the only good character of the show.
True.
Played by Luke Perry. He died in the show because he died in real life. Rest in peace. This is Archie's mom. She's only in it because Fred died, but now neither are in it because...
She was in it briefly before he died, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, she was like a main part of season 4.
Yeah.
But season 5, she left. This is Fred's long lost brother, Frank. He just kind of pops in and out randomly. but he's basically Archie's somewhat moral center for like when he needs it. He'll just pop in and be like, "Hey, I'm back. Remember me?"
Good cast.
Yeah, no, terrible.
They look like brothers.
Okay, these two. This is the main villain. So this is Veronica. She's the fourth main character. So it's Jughead, Betty, Archie, Veronica. She dates Archie and runs a speakeasy at 16. It's a real weird thing. And then 7 years later, she's married to another guy, but falls back in love with Archie. And this is the main villain. Literally everything bad that happens in the town is because he's a sociopath. There's no other way to put it. You'll want to know Hiram. He's also in every story. This is his wife who left him at the end of season 4. She's kind of part of the schemes and then not part of the schemes. And then random sister who shows up for a season. That's it. Cheryl's everyone's favorite character of all time. She basically speaks like a bad Shakespearean author through the whole fucking show. She's a triplet, but everyone's dead, and we're gonna get into that triplet thing in a little bit. She had romantic relations with Archie, but then was with Josie, and then she's dating a girl named Tony. She also had like a weird incestuous love that was implied with her dead brother here. Yeah, just like a real fucked up person. This is dead brother. You only need to know dead, but he's the one who was dating Polly and had implied incestuous love with his sister. A lot of incest. Mom.
There's a lot of incest in this show, I'm noticing.
Mom, one of the main villains. You just need to know her face because we're going to go over her a lot more. And this is the same actor, but plays two different people. We will also cover this later. Stupid. And then just other main characters. This is Cheryl's lover, Tony. This is the character that I feel gets shat on the most in the show because he could be a good character, but his only personality trait is gay. This is Reggie. He is Archie's buddy until 7 years later, where he's Hiram's lackey. And this is Kevin's lover. That's it. All right.
Hate these names. I hate these names.
These are from the comic. So this is 60s comic names. Okay.
Oh, God.
There's your backstory. I'm going to move quick now. So the first is all the Riverdale musicals versus the Mothman or Aliens, I don't know which. So every season, starting in season 2, there is a musical. It does not tie into the plot line until the very last scene, and it usually happens when, after the mid-season finale, they always do the thing where it's like, oh, we solved the problem, and then there's like kind of a mundane period, and then the musical happens, and it's like nothing that has to do with the fucking show goes on, and at the very last part, it's like you needed to watch the musical because it jumpstarts the whole storyline again. So
the music is so bad.
Yeah, no one could sing.
So bad.
No one could sing. And if you didn't like the first musical, I didn't see any advertisements that it was going to be a musical. So when I watched it, I was like, why is everyone singing? The fuck is going on? The most important, non-important episode. Like if you don't watch it, it's like, oh, by the way, the Black Hood's back. Oh, by the way, the farm is now taking over Riverdale. It's like, what is happening? So yeah, there's a musical. They also dance like this through like the whole thing, and I thought that was a funny gift to add in. And then there's the Mothman.
What the fuck is that?
So this is something that takes place 7 years in the future from season 4. So season 5 is the jump, this season of the time jump. Jughead's an author, and he's being pressured. He had one big hit and like kind of flopped ever since. So he needs the next big story. And he hears about the Mothman mystery, and he's like, well, you know what? I wanna learn more about it while I'm back in Riverdale. So he's asking around. Turns out Pops, who owns the diner, is like, yeah, there was this mystery where all the lights and Pops were like flickering and turning off. So we went outside, and this big beam of light shined down on us. And it was the Mothman. And it's like, oh, well, who else was there? Turns out Cheryl's grandma was there. And they basically petrified the Mothman in syrup. So this is the Mothman, supposedly. But then the same phenomenon happens to Jughead, as he is also working at Pops as an author. Like, in addition to being an author, he takes a job at Pops. And when he goes home that night, the Mothman, petrified whatever, is gone. So it's kind of like an ongoing story where there's a supernatural Mothman / alien that they at one point had trapped in syrup.
I had also heard someone say ghost alien, so I'm gonna throw that into your word salad there.
Yeah, here's the thing: we don't know what it is because like the Mothman is an actual cryptid that people believe in.
Yeah.
This doesn't share any similarities with the Mothman, but there is beam of light
West
like
Virginia,
an
right?
Yeah, West Virginia, like the east, kind of towards the East Coast. I don't know. Yeah, but like, so stupid.
This storyline is ongoing, right? It's still going on.
Yeah. So
you could get a resolution that is sufficient.
You're gonna learn as we go through this. There is no sufficient resolutions in Riverdale.
Somehow it's probably not going to be supernatural because they love to like say, "Oh, there's a little supernatural element," and then it doesn't actually be supernatural, and then the writers constantly are saying, "We'll never go and do actual supernatural full on."
This is going to be either Hiram or Penelope's doing, especially because the petrified mummy was in Cheryl's house, so she's got something to do with it. It's so dumb though because Jughead's chasing this story and they're trying to play this off very seriously. But then when this first showed up, I couldn't stop laughing. It's like he just goes to Cheryl. It's like, yeah, we have him. He's like, where is he? Oh, he's petrified in a barrel of syrup. Like,
I know that
fuck you.
They don't look the same, but for some reason that skeleton reminds me of the aliens from Mars Attacks. Giant head.
I will also say through my research, I may be slightly off on some of my points because there's a lot going on and it's all running through my head. And
you won't know the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I'm not gonna.
And the reason
I can only fact check you on the things I've seen. So
I also said plot, not just plot lines, but plot points because these aren't really plot lines. They're just like plot points in the series. Like, hey, we're gonna pause everything for a musical for a second. So yeah, I guess that's a good time to vote on these. Should also mention there's 21 entries, but a lot of playing rounds. That means.
Right.
Should I vote or should I abstain from voting unless there's a tie? I'm gonna abstain from voting unless there's a tie. So you got the 3 musicals in the middle of every season. There will be a 4th. It's confirmed for season 5. Or the Mothman.
I absolutely hated the musicals, and you hyped it up to me as if it was going to be good.
No, I said it was going to be
and they were bad.
I said it was going to be
No, but then the season 3 one, you were like, oh no, it's actually going to be like really good though. And it was most boring No, you said it was real entertaining. It was the most boring shit I've ever watched.
I'm
going musical.
You have to consider the fact that Andy usually watches bad shit for the purpose of laughing at it. So when he says something good, it usually means it's bad.
Yeah, that's the
point. But it was boring is the problem. Andy said it was like entertaining. It was boring as hell.
I don't remember.
That's because Andy has a twisted sense of humor and he just finds that kind of shit funny. So it's like, I'm voting musical.
Yeah, I'm going musical as well.
So
it just doesn't make sense with the vibe of the show.
Interesting. I would have went with Mothman, but that's why I don't vote. All right. What do we got next? The raid of Southside High Southside High raided and shut down, or the prison break. Oh boy. All right. So Southside High was the high school in the not safe part of town. It's where all the Serpents, which is the gang that Jughead runs, goes. It's where Jughead was from. And Hiram is basically trying to shut it down so he could convert it into a prison. His end goal is basically to control the South Side and then eventually all of Riverdale. They do this by introducing a new drug into the school called Jingle Jangle. It's basically these pixie sticks Essentially, the goal is to kind of like get this drug circulating through the school, make it a problem, shut it down. Hiram turns it into a prison and then sells Jingle Jangle through the prison, in addition to kind of buying up land in the South Side and control it. It's convoluted. It makes no sense. But end goal of this is all the Serpents who have had problems with Archie and friends in the past have to go to school in Riverdale, which is now also going to make Riverdale not as great of a school because they got all these ruffians coming into school. But yeah, the main taking point from this is Hiram's convoluted plan to introduce Jingle Jangle into the school so he could then have a Jingle Jangle empire through a prison.
Okay. That doesn't seem so crazy compared to an alien in syrup.
Hey, that's okay. Because Hiram's plan works. He gets to jail. And his first action is to arrest Archie for a murder that was done by his hands while Archie was his intern. Reason being, he wanted to arrest Archie because he was basically trying to turn Archie into like his lackey. And his father, Fred, was kind of like the voice of reason. So his goal was to become the father to him that Fred couldn't be. And Archie's like, hey, man, you can't be my dad. And Hiram's like, well, then I'm going to arrest you. Essentially, that's how it played out. Hiram's like, I'm giving you this car. And Archie's like, you'll never be my dad. You can't buy my love. And if you ever try to again, I'll fucking take you down. And Hiram's like, okay, you're arrested for a murder. So Archie's in prison. There's another storyline that happens in prison we'll cover later. But essentially, Veronica, which is Hiram's daughter, Reggie, which is Hiram's lackey 7 years in the future, and Jughead and a few of the kids are like, well, we're going to break Archie out of prison, which they succeed in doing through another convoluted plan. As you can see, they're dressed up. They're going into the prison for a reason we'll discuss later. Break him out. He's on the run, which is, he's on the move to Canada. They bump into Jughead's long-lost mom and sister in that sequence. They try to kind of take in Archie and Jughead for reward money, so they have to now run from them. And then it culminates in Archie getting mauled by a bear.
Okay.
Here he is, mauled by a bear.
All right.
He does end up heading back to Riverdale as there's now substantial evidence proving his innocence, because Veronica's on the case as always.
I assume this is a topic
like
later,
the evidence.
yeah. I assume this is a topic later, but he breaks out because there's a special tunnel under a fighting ring. There's just a tunnel under a boxing ring.
Yeah, the boxing ring is
been
the
there.
story. The boxing ring is the storyline we'll get to later. But yes, they are boxing.
It's important to know he broke out because there's a convenient tunnel under a boxing ring.
Which leads to this bunker, which then becomes their hideout for the whole series. No one thinks to check the bunker. Also, because of Archie's escape, the warden of the prison kills himself. Why? We'll get to that later, too.
Oh, God.
These hurt my brain.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
I'll be right back. I gotta go do something real quick.
Pick your vote real quick.
Oh, I can't get over fucking Jingle Jangle. Both are really painful to vote for, but I'm voting Jingle Jangle because that shit sounds stupid.
Jingle Jangle.
Prison break.
Be right back, yeah.
Man. The Jingle Jangle thing's funny. I can't believe the man would get a school, the property rezoned to like prison.
Be a prison? Yeah. A private prison?
Yeah, it's a privately owned prison.
I mean, Simpsons did it, but
Riverdale did it much worse.
Yeah. I like that these two are somewhat interconnected.
Yeah, to a degree. You're gonna get a lot of interconnected with season 3. There's a lot of stupid shit going on.
Important to note, the prison in Prison Break is not the same prison.
Okay.
It's another prison he like has connections and ties to. I don't know if he owns it, but he has His
I
fingers.
feel like he definitely has ties because he has.
Yeah.
So while in prison, Archie is an honorary serpent, which we'll get to later as well. But he befriends all these serpents and the Ghoulies, the rival gang, which we'll also get to later. They're like kind of there's this little gang war, and Archie's like, let's just have a football game as friends. And then Hiram gets word of this and has the guards beat them all mercilessly while they're playing.
Yeah,
football.
I'm gonna go with Southside High Raid.
Wow.
It kind of just comes out of nowhere.
So am I.
Wow. The prison break I thought was gonna go far because it's dumb and ends in a bear mauling.
That's why I voted it. Made no sense. Jingle
Jingle
jangle.
jangle.
Oh, all right. Next to one of these, so there's the weird love square. That is definitely not right. It's like a love hexagon. Versus the tickle fetish porn storyline.
Go, baby. I'm ready.
All right, so
Oh, God.
this is where
These are just
season two-
relationship charts. Oh, yeah.
This is just season 2. There's more that's added into this.
Oh, yeah.
For instance, these two end up dating for a long time, and Archie, Veronica has relation with Reggie at one point when Archie's in prison, and Jughead ends up. All of these characters have relationships in the 7-year time skip with other people. It's a hot mess. Basically, everyone's fucking everyone nonstop, and the way they pursue each other is insane. Cheryl. And it's not on here because it happens later in season 2. Before she dates Tony, is interested in Josie, and her idea of showing her love is mailing her a pig's heart. Just like out of nowhere. One storyline between those that we didn't get on here too is after the pig heart thing, her mom finds out and sends her to gay conversion therapy, which there is an escape from the gay conversion therapy center. I can bring that up because that's where the relationship with Tony started, in the gay conversion therapy center.
Is this a place where you are converted to gay?
No,
or
converted to straight.
No.
The other way around.
Yeah, no. Traditional conversion therapy.
Yeah.
So you pray the gay away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they sent her there.
Yep.
So yeah, like as I mentioned, like this is her dead brother and oddly her dead sister, and you could see some incestuous relationships already forming in season 2. So yeah,
Everybody's a hoe.
yeah. So like these two dated, but these two hook up, but these two dated. There's so many. Cheryl's not in here, but she hooked up with Archie at some point. It's just everyone fucking everyone, and it will switch on a dime.
Yeah.
It's
a lot
insane.
of high school student sexualization, which is everyone always overlooks with this show. It's uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable, but at least the actors are all like 25 and older.
They're not supposed to be there in the story.
They're
Yeah.
portraying teenagers, though. That's the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's normal for that, but it's a little weird when it's a show. It's weird, but
then we go to the tickle fetish porn. So, Kevin and Fangs break up in season 4 at some point. Kevin starts trying to, get back out there and dates this guy named Terry. And Terry's kind of a little weirdo. And he's like, they're sort of being intimate, and he starts tickling Kevin. And Kevin's like, I'm not comfortable with this. And he's like, well, you got a great laugh. I run this, you ever recorded yourself? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I run this video business. And he introduces Kevin into the wonderful world of tickle fetish porn. And Kevin starts bringing in people. So he brings Fangs in first. He's like, hey, I'm making extra money doing this. And then Reggie hears, and Reggie's like, I want in. I want to make some extra money. So now these 3 guys are doing it. And Reggie's like, you know what? Let's just do our own tickle fetish porn. And it
I just noticed here that it says he gets paid $5,000 per video.
Yes, $5,000 per tickle video. Making fucking insane money tickling. Which Terry doesn't like that Kevin's starting his own tickle business. So they meet at Pops, and in one of my favorite scenes, he grabs Kevin's fingers, starts bending them back, and says, "You'll never tickle anyone ever again." as his threat if he keeps doing tickle fetish porn. And then the principal kind of finds out about it and makes him take down the website. So what I don't have written down here is Reggie gets the football team, and Kevin gets Tony, Cheryl, and the cheerleading team, and they do like one last big tickle score, and they use it kind of against Terry. They get Terry involved, and they make him look like an idiot and kind of tear down his tickle business.
That's a musical episode?
No, this is something that's introduced at the mid-season finale and never discussed again until the last 2 episodes where they close the tickle storyline.
Well, you gotta close it.
I forgot there
How many
was tickle
storylines
fetish
is there?
porn in this show until the end, where Kevin's just rolling around with wads of cash.
I stopped shortly before this.
Yeah, so yeah, Kevin's just in tickle porn now. Tickle porn in Riverdale, baby.
Oh my god.
Just giving me a headache.
You got a lot more to go through, Julian. So where's your vote? As I
Listen, relationship maps are nothing new, and there's way more complicated ones than that. So like the weird stuff with that is like the incestuous shit. So I'm going tickle fetish porn because
Same.
that's a
Tickle
little
fetish
less
porn?
common.
Yeah, what? Nothing else needs to be said about tickle fetish. Let's move on.
We can all agree
that was
tickle
one of
fetish
them.
porn takes
So
the
I should note, we put 20 in between Julian, Dave, and Jerrick, and I put the last one in, and it was tickle fetish porn.
Thanks, buddy.
Needed to be talked about. All right, so the next one is Archie is a member of an underground prison boxing ring versus the fight to save Jellybean.
I hope these are the same. I hope they're related.
Not even remotely.
Damn it.
Both in the same season. So we already talked about Archie is in a prison boxing. So when he's in prison, he is selected by the guards football game happens. The guards start beating all of them on Hiram's demand, and Archie puts up a good fight. So the warden's like, hey, I'm choosing Archie to be my fighter in the underground boxing ring that is unknown to the outside, and the guards all bet on who's going to win in every fight. So it's basically Archie now is a boxer. This was not established through the series to this point. He never boxed anyone else. He's been in fights, but that's about it. And he bare knuckle brawls for the guards' entertainment and money. Dave also mentioned this is where the prison break takes place. Veronica and Reggie somehow get their way down here and create a diversion so Archie can crawl out of a conveniently placed tunnel in the middle of the ring. That's how this storyline ends. Also, I mentioned the guard killed himself because there's an ongoing game of Dungeons and Dragons that never ends in the town, and he drew the card called Kill the Red Paladin, which means he was supposed to kill Archie.
What? Oh my god.
But we have a separate
So
G&G
random.
We have
entry, right?
Yeah, there's a whole
Okay.
storyline with G&G. I may need your help remembering all
That's a
the
separate
stupid shit
entry.
with that. But yes, G&G is the D&D game of the world. And the whole town has been basically making all its decisions based on that game. And the guard failed to kill the Red Paladin, so he killed himself.
The fact that the town makes all of its decisions based on a game explains a lot.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that later.
Sense, not
Yeah, that's the separate entry, so I'm considering that separate from the
Okay.
boxing.
The hunt to save Jellybean is a 1-episode plot line, and it has to do with G&G. So
Right.
Why does she have Psy?
great fucking question. All right. The rival gang, the Ghoulies, and their leader, Penelope Peabody, take Jellybean from the Jones family and tell them, in order to save them, you must play a game of G&G. which puts them through various trials where they have to admit things to each other and rob Pop's diner for some reason. Just very stupid shit. And it all culminates in Gladys, which is Jughead's mom, having to fight Penny Peabody using size to save Jellybean. and I wrote here.
I just thought that she just wanted to be Raphael from the Ninja Turtles.
No, see, they're fighting right here with Sai. And it ends with Gladys stabbing Penny in the leg. That's it. Yay.
You win. My leg.
Penny's the lady that had her tattoo carved out of her, right?
And then proceeded
By
to carve
Jughead?
out and then proceeded to carve out Jughead's tattoo. Yeah, we get to that a little later as well.
Okay.
All right. Time to vote on two juggernauts. The boxing, which ended up being a convoluted plan to kill Archie, or the fight to save Jellybean.
On one hand, I want to go with the boxing ring because I forgot about the Jellybean plotline, but that almost sounds like a good argument for the Jellybean plotline to go get my votes.
It's a 1-episode plot and ends in a battle of size.
Somebody getting
I'm
stabbed.
definitely going with Jellybean.
I'm
Jellybean,
going
I
with
heard.
Jellybean. Just because the ending of it's funny. It's like, you stabbed me in the leg.
I'll go with Jellybean.
Yeah, the size put it over the edge. If they were just using fists or like a knife, okay.
Knife, yeah.
Nope, let's come up with this very specific weapon to use.
I know,
All
right?
All right, we've got next Dark Betty, which is like it's more of a plot point than a plot line, but
Okay.
and then there's Archie and the Firefighters.
I don't know what the second one is.
It's a season 5 plot line. So there's Dark Betty. This kind of dies out when you learn that she has the serial killer gene. But Dark Betty is kind of like Betty's like, oh, I'm the innocent girl next door, but when I put on this black wig and lace bra, I am now like this weird, kinky, creepy person. And it comes out at random times. So in season 1, there's this guy here who's spreading rumors about sexual escapades he had with Veronica. So they tie him to a jacuzzi, turn up the heat, pour honey on him, and Betty starts like forcing his head underwater. And Veronica's like, "Hey Betty, you've crossed the line. don't kill somebody." And then she's, Dark Bettying it up. Next time, she's like, "Hey, it'd be fun if I had sex with Jughead for the first time as Dark Betty." So she puts on the wig and they have sex for the first time. And then when she meets her brother that isn't the brother chick, turns out he's like a webcammer. And she's like, "Oh, I want to get into webcamming." So she dresses up as Dark Betty and sets up a webcam. I don't know what she's doing.
I understand what you mean by webcamming, but every time you say it, I'm like, yeah, he's really popular on Twitch.
But like, they imply it's like sexual, but nothing sexual happens. They're just webcamming, yo.
The first guy, why would they pour honey on him if they're just going to drown him in the hot tub?
That's a good point. Like,
we don't ask questions in Riverdale. It's season 1.
I want to say there was some weird point for why the honey was there, but I think it was. I blocked it out of my memory.
I feel like honey was included in some of his sexual stories with Veronica.
He was his lube, I guess.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Who fucking knows? This character here, he's not seen after season 1.
Yeah, no, he's like gone even after this scene. Yeah.
Yeah, like who the fuck is he? I don't know.
Probably left
Dark
the
Betty
town
sounds...
after he just like some crazy bitch covered me in honey and tried to drown me. I don't know what that was about.
I'm leaving this town.
Fucking Dark Betty. She's more of a character.
She
also, it's
awesome.
Yeah, she's not. Also, Dark Betty just stopped showing up after her brother's like, "Hey, you've got the serial killer gene." She's like, "Oh, it makes so much sense."
I think they realized it was a bad plot point and just dropped it.
Yeah, pretty much. That's up against Archie and the Firefighters. So this is season 5. Archie comes back to town. Archie, so Riverdale is basically now unincorporated. Hiram has made it so it no longer exists. End goal for Hiram is he wants to knock it down and make a super highway to his new town, Sodale. So there's no fire department. School's run down, and Archie's like, I'm here to save the day. I'm going to be a teacher at the school. I'm going to run the ROTC program. I'm starting the football team again. But the big thing he's doing is doing all those things. He's now a firefighter with no training.
So is that just season 5's like thirst trap?
Oh, no, this is him about to have sex with Betty. Remember the love square?
I meant, though, that this is their excuse to get, like, Archie and the other firefighters with, like, little clothes on.
No. Because he can't get other firefighters, so he recruits the high school football team to be the firefighters with him. First fire happens. No one knows what to do. They don't have a fire truck at the time. So Archie just runs into a burning building. Saves the day, but also everyone's like, hey, Archie, that was really fucking dumb.
Does Riverdale not have a firefighting department at all?
Because the town's going under. Everyone quit. There's no fire department in Riverdale. That's why Archie's starting it again. So Veronica, as the she-wolf of Wall Street, has money and bought a fire truck for them. And yes, I see you cringing, Dave. She has called herself the she-wolf of Wall Street at least 10 times in 10
Whatever
episodes.
that writer is, they should get fired.
So yeah, this is an ongoing storyline where Archie is basically running everything in the town. But the funniest to me is that he's a firefighter. And a very bad one. As he just runs into a burning building with no protection, runs just through the smoke. And it's like, Archie, what are you doing? Everyone's like, Archie, stop it. But yeah, also the legality of not only him not being trained, but hiring a bunch of 15 to 18-year-olds to be firefighters with him.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, that's a thing that's ongoing. I don't know what's going to happen. They might just forget about it. They do that a lot. So time to vote.
As much as I like Dark Betty, I think I'm going to have to go with the firefighting brigade.
I'm going with the firefighter.
I see some struggles with
I'm
two
gonna
of you.
give some love to Dark Betty because she tried drowning a dude before, after pouring honey on it. What was that supposed to do? And how original is that? My name's Betty. Now I'm Dark Betty.
Yeah, I don't have any experience with the firefighter one, but the idea that Riverdale doesn't have a fire department because it's going under is a little... I'm going firefighter.
Also, they had a whole meeting to determine whether Riverdale should even be a town, as per Hiram's request as the mayor of Sodale, and it's no longer a town.
As it shouldn't be. I mean, everybody makes their decisions based off of a Dungeons and Dragons game.
We'll get more into that.
I'm glad someone in the writer's room says Riverdale doesn't need to exist anymore.
It really
All right.
doesn't.
Musicals are back, and they're up against The Search for Polly and All the Dead Bodies. All right. Season 5 storyline. Polly is kind of in too deep with the Ghoulies. She's hanging out with them, doing drugs, meeting the wrong people. And then, you start getting teases. She goes missing, and you see scenes like this one up here where she's being chased by the truck. No one knows where she's at. It's going crazy. So Betty, being now 7 years later an FBI agent, because of course she is, she's like, I'm gonna search for Betty. I'm gonna kind of comb through Riverdale and try and find her. And she starts finding dead bodies in a swamp. These dead bodies aren't Polly, but hey, something's going on here. A lot of dead bodies. So her and her mom and a couple of serpents are like, oh, let's keep searching the swamp. Where Hiram comes up, and that's kind of like Sodale jurisdiction. And he's like, hey, you can't be here. And Betty flashes her badge. And he says right here, oh, I think you're going to need more than that badge you got out of a Jacker crack box, Betty. And I'm like, arrest him. You're in the FBI. You literally flashed your badge, and he's preventing you from searching. This is FBI jurisdiction now. But no, she walks away defeated. Also, in this scene, Reggie's there threatening them with a shotgun. So he's got a shotgun pointed at them.
Both
an FBI agent. So yeah, this is ongoing. It actually ended with Polly calling Betty's home from a payphone, like, "Hey, I'm on the run, help me." And they kind of track where the call is from. They find the payphone, but it's destroyed and coated in Polly's blood.
Oh.
So Polly might be dead.
Pretty normal.
Who knows? This girl's been
She's
through a
probably
lot
alive.
with her incestuous children and joining a cult and being in an incestuous home. And I don't know. She's been through a lot. She might be dead.
Her dad's a serial killer.
Dad's a serial killer. Yeah, I mean, so much fucked up shit in that Cooper home. Cooper, Jones, Blossom. I mean, they're all related now at some point. Gross. All right, so you got all the dead bodies and Polly and Hiram basically telling off an FBI agent with no repercussions versus the musical.
Musical.
Wow, I'm surprised that these musicals are doing so well.
Because they're so pointless. What is the point of the musical?
Just be glad
I
you
mean,
didn't have to
aside
listen
from these
to it.
crazy ass plots that make no fucking sense, they just decide to add musicals. All
Yeah,
right.
that's the humor of it. I'm guessing that's Julian's vote for musical as well.
Yep.
Jerrick, I think you're the only one I've heard.
I'll give a vote to Polly for the Jacker crack line. For Christ's sake, they could have just got it out of a bag of snacks or something.
Nope. Jacker crack.
God.
All right, so we got a couple coming up here that I would deem more kind of tame, lamer ones. It's Hiram runs the town prison with the Legion of Doom. I gave him that name. Versus everyone joining the gang, the Southside Serpents. All right. So this is kind of all the bad guys up to season 2. And Hiram has now started buying plots of land. He's got the prison going up. He's kind of taking control of the town. The only thing in the South Side he doesn't own is Pop Steiner, which Betty buys from him in exchange for a bar, the white something, the white snake or something. Doesn't matter, but he owns everything. And all these characters. So this is Penny Peabody. This is Cheryl's mom, Penelope. This is Uncle Claudius that looks like Daddy Clifford for the Blossoms. A member of the Ghoulies. And this is his new sheriff. And he's basically giving them positions of power. Basically just trying to control the town in for reasons. Just likes power. I don't know. But we already know, like, a lot of these people have been taken down. We'll find out what happens to him and her later, but they're taken down in season 3. Stabbed in the leg with a sigh. We don't have a storyline about him. He's killed by FP, which is Jughead's dad. So Jughead's dad could then become the sheriff, but then it turns out that his wife actually killed him. It's a weird thing, but it ends up, the end goal is to get Jughead's dad as the sheriff of the town. It's dumb. And their first order of business ties into the prison break, and it's to arrest Archie. So these people that control the town have it in for this 16-year-old kid. And they shook their fist as they sent him away for murder. Like I said, this is kind of one of the lamer ones. And it's everyone joins the Serpents. We'll touch on this one last. Dave knows why.
That's the winner. That's why this one wins.
All right. So everyone ends up a member or an honorary member of the gang, the Serpents. So Jughead, all through season 1, he's like, I resent my father for being in this gang. The gang is evil. He joins the gang at the end of season 1 for, I don't know, just likes the cool leather jacket. I don't know. But as the leader, he gets in all sorts of escapades. He's very violent at first, and then for some reason in season 3, he's like, we're a good gang. We're going to help the police, and we're not going to defend our territory or sell drugs because we're the good gang. So Jughead's kind of a shitty gang leader. Veronica's the only one that doesn't join. Archie's given honorary affiliation with the Serpents, and they give him a serpent tattoo that everyone in the Serpents has. when he goes to prison and he like befriends all the serpents there and then starts a friendly game of football and gets beaten by guards, and we know how that goes. Tony, Cheryl's lover, is already a member. And when Tony is taken captive by the Ghoulies, it's Cheryl's sick archery skills that help save the day. And she is given serpent status. Before. She's given serpent status for being a badass archer. So much so that I believe they gave her a special red one because everything she does is red because reasons. And I think at one point she becomes the queen while Jughead's the king, even though they're not dating. I don't get it. It happens. But the real winner is how Betty joins the Serpents. So she's dating Jughead, and Jughead's like, I don't want you part of this gang life. And Betty's like, I want to be part of this gang life. So one day, Betty's like, I'm going to join. And they're all together at a serpent gathering at this dingy bar with teens. I don't get it. And all of a sudden, and Jughead doesn't know this happened, Betty's like, changes the music to a very somber song, and she starts pole dancing and then starts singing Mad World. And that is how she joins the gang, by pole dancing in front of her boyfriend, her boyfriend's father, and for some reason her mother is there. And all of the serpents. And she's just pole dancing and singing Mad World. And I want to emphasize that the best part is she's singing Mad World. If you don't know what Mad sucks. Do you know what Mad World is? Because if you don't, you should.
Yes, I do know what Mad World is.
It makes the whole thing so much better. Because otherwise, it would just be sad, depressing, creepy, and not
also
fun.
Wasn't it implied that this is like a normal thing that the women that want to join the Serpents have to do, or an older way for them to join?
I don't know. I
remember there was like an insinuation that used to be a way for them to join,
because I think Alice was going to join and didn't want to do that, but I don't think they did that anymore, because I don't see Tony doing that.
No, I think that's what I'm saying. I think it was like an old method. Because Alice did join. I thought she was a serpent.
She might have been and then quit. I don't know.
But yeah,
all you need to know
is one wins.
She sung Mad World. Wow.
It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. Too. Also, no one knows that. Like, everyone knows Betty's gonna join. No one knows it's this way.
I'll vote for it.
Everyone joins.
The best part of this episode is watching Julian as he described things, and you could just see bits of his brain shipping off.
Do not watch this show.
Watch the show. It's good fun. All right. Next, we have the return of the Southside Raid, and then the ongoing battle of the Serpents and Ghoulies. And when I say ongoing, it mostly means season 2, and the car race. So there's a car race.
Against the Serpents and the Ghoulies.
Okay, so Serpents and Ghoulies are rival gangs, and as Jughead is the head, this is when his most violent is. And he's basically trying to keep control of his gang while intimidating the Ghoulies. It supposedly leads to this car race. Like, you would think this would be kind of towards the end. It's actually towards the beginning of this, where he's in a drag race with a couple Ghoulies, and Archie joins Jughead for this race for some reason. You find out why later. So they're like, all right, we're going to do a drag race down this road. And Cheryl counts him down because she happens to be there for reasons. I don't even think she's dating Tony yet. So they're off, and they're racing down the road, and all of a sudden Archie just slams on, he turns and slams on Jughead's brake. Why'd you do that? Turns out Archie informed the police, and a bunch of Ghoulies got arrested. Archie, what a guy. So that kind of spearheads this ongoing battle. Penny Peabody and this guy.
Malachi?
Yeah, he's kind of one of the heads of the Serpents. Him and Jughead are going at it. They're all going at it. They steal Tony, as I mentioned, and use her as leverage to get the Serpents to move out of town, but Cheryl and that fucking bow and arrow. She gets Tony back. They don't have to leave. We've already mentioned Jughead cuts off Penny Peabody's tattoo with a knife. Literally just carves her fucking tattoo out of her skin. Jughead at his best. But then
also,
later
advocates for no violence in the gang.
Yeah. But it sort of culminates this season in kind of a like where Jughead meets with them, ambushed, beaten to a pulp, has his tattoo cut out, pretty much looks dead here. He just wakes up in the hospital the next day. And then there's like this just in the background, like, oh, we don't like the Ghoulies, but like it kind of culminates right here. And no one cares. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of goofy that like Jughead's cutting off people's tattoos, and in the same breath he's like, hey, don't be selling drugs. That jingle jangle is a bad thing. And then literally carving people's skin.
What's the other entry?
I think another kind of meh one. Oh, the Southside High raid and shut down and turned into a prison and then becomes a jingle jangle factory.
Southside High.
Southside High, baby.
Still sticking with that one.
I wish I could go visit it, like Willy Wonka's chocolate.
A golden jingle jangle.
Yeah.
I've got the
golden.
What
is the drug supposed to do? Like, what is Jingle Jangle supposed to do?
It's almost like a roofie.
Yeah, but then some people act like they have like meth withdrawals. So
yeah, but like remember it was used in like when they were the party where they tried to rape Cheryl and they saved her because they gave her jingle jangle.
I've blocked that out of my head.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys didn't pick the Nick St. Clair storyline because I'm like, I don't want to talk about that one.
Oh yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah, so jingle jangle has varying things. It could be a roofie, it could be acid, it could be meth. Everyone acts differently to jingle jangle. All you need to know is it's a pixie stick.
I'll vote for it again.
Right
up my alley.
I'll vote for that again.
Julian's dying, and I'm loving it. Tickle fetish.
We're all dying.
Tickle fetish porn is back, and it's up against Alice joining the child harvesting organ farm, but as an FBI agent. Secret agent Alice.
What kind of bullshit is this?
Oh my god.
So we're gonna get more into the farm in general, but it's a cult, and the whole season Alice is like bought in, like the farm is good, the farm is great. They even fucking baptize her and she drowns and they bring her back to life. Like she is in it to fucking win it. But in the very final season, you are introduced to Charles, which is the stepbrother to both Betty and Jughead, daughter to Alice. He's an FBI agent who's working with Alice. So she's an honorary FBI agent, and she's planted into the farm as a secret agent. It is the dumbest twist I've ever seen. Because,
Dave
I mean,
said it best.
The entire season, she is like in it. She's a
I like this first image because it makes her look like she's some giant. That's cool.
And here she is being drowned. They hold her under that baptismal pool for a long time.
You said that the farm disappears at the end of the season.
Yeah, we'll get it.
Is this a part of a different entry?
Yeah.
That dramatically changes my vote.
Yeah. This is just Alice's storyline to it.
Okay.
We've got the whole farm on here.
Okay.
And that is up against tickle fetish porn, which we've talked about.
Tickle fetish.
Yeah, but I know what
porn.
I know what Dave wants to win this bracket now. Yeah. Based on his questions, I know what he wants to win. Fight to Save Jellybean is back, and it's up against the main storyline of season 3. We're talking G&G, baby.
Gargoyle.
What the fuck is that?
The
Gargoyle King.
This is basically.
It's like the Babadook.
I'm gonna have a hard time going through this.
This looks like a sneeze with horns on it.
All right, so there's an entire flashback episode in season 3 that's a parody of Saved by the Bell meets The Breakfast Club, and it's the kids' parents learning about a game of D&D. And
the kids' parents, but as depicted by the kids.
Yeah, so these are the parents dressed in G&G garb, playing in Dungeons and Dragons, and they get so into it, and they like meet all the time, and they have like a midnight society for it.
Yeah,
but
they sneak into the school to play it. They can't meet anywhere else.
And they get high, or they get drunk. They get high while they're playing it as well, and they're like, it's crazy, it's like a rave party meets Dungeons and Dragons. But the principal dies in this, and they don't know who killed him, so they all like form this cult. It's like, we will never speak of G&G again. It's back, baby, 25 years later, and the whole town is playing this time. It's a cult, and there's this leader, the Gargoyle King, that they all pray to. It's their god of Dungeons and Dragons. And Jughead gets really into it, and they basically drink like chalices of blue liquid, and sometimes it has cyanide and sometimes it doesn't.
So like kids are dying from drinking the cyanide goblets.
And the mystery is like, who's the Gargoyle King and why is G&G back? And like there's like this whole cult that isn't the farm, but it's kind of like the farm of kids playing it, and Betty saves them as the Griffin Queen. And then there's the Red Paladin shit where he drew the Red Paladin card, didn't kill Archie, so he killed himself. But now everyone's got the Red Paladin card. Kill the Red Paladin. So Jughead's like, you know what we need to do? We need to set up, when Archie's back in town, a challenge where everyone gets to box Archie one after another. And Archie wins all 10 fucking fights. It's dumb. It's dumb. So anyway, the whole town's controlled by this game. Gargoyle King actually breaks out Betty's father, who's in prison as the season 2 villain, the Black Hood. So now you got the Gargoyle King and the Black Hood running around, and it all culminates in the 4 kids being kidnapped. And it's by Penelope's mom, who brought back Griffins and Gargoyles. And it's unmasked that the Black Hood is still the same guy who was the Black Hood the last time. It's Hal. And the Griffin, the Gargoyle King is the long lost brother who wasn't really the brother chick who did the webcamming. He just kind of like buggered off at the end of season 2. He's the Gargoyle King now.
You weren't sure whether or not he was killed or not, and then
but it wasn't established until the episode before the reveal that it was him. They're just like, it's him now, and you must accept it. And they poison the 4 kids, and the only way to get the antidote is each kid has to go through a Griffins and Gargoyles trial.
Yeah, Archie fights a man with a bear on his head.
Costume, because he was mauled by a bear earlier in the season. You get it?
Yeah. Good writing. Wow.
Yeah. What was this up? The jelly bean? Yeah, G&G.
I mean,
there's no way this can lose to anything at this point.
Oh, wait. I think Dave might disagree.
Listen, I have a personal favorite, but I can't say for sure.
So this is gonna sweep Jelly Bean, right?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
This is the storyline that got me way into Riverdale because it's so fucking stupid.
My scale of how I'm voting is what's gonna get me more frustrated and tired. And that really
All right,
took the toll
we've got a couple of really weird ones. So we've got Archie's Red Circle versus Cheryl's Triplet. And Dave doesn't know about Cheryl's Triplet, I think. I might have mentioned it.
I think I got an intro of it.
Archie's Red Circle. Archie's dad was shot by the Black Hood. So he decides to get his football team to all take off their shirts, put on pink masks, and say, hey, we're going to fucking find you, Black Hood. We're the Red Circle. And he starts tagging shit with red circles around town, which gets him in deep with the Serpents. It's like, hey, you can't tag on our turf. Which then proceeds.
What the fuck are the Serpents gonna do? Call the police?
No,
This is season 2's Thirst Trap. as you can
Yeah.
see.
Actually, at this point, Jughead hasn't gotten a stranglehold on the Serpents yet, so they're still maybe violent, implied violent. So now the Serpents are at it with Archie. They go to his house to fight him. Archie has the football team over. We have an in the rain boxing fighting match between the Riverdale football team versus a gang. So they fight. Archie changes them from the red circle to the black circle. And then the Black Hood is shot, but turns out it's a fake one, but they don't know that yet, and the red circle disbands. So that's the end of the red circle. The shirtless football players with pink masks on. It's possibly one of the dumbest things. Also, he says, "See, there's only one of you, but we are a legion. This is Archie's legion."
God, that's so lame. That's such a lame line.
It's up against Cheryl's triplet. So this bleeds into another storyline we have on here. So I'm only going to focus on the triplet. So there's a thing called the Blossom Curse. It's talked about through the whole season. Blossoms are cursed. But Cheryl is told, like, hey, you and Jason weren't twins. There was a triplet. He died in the womb. How did he die in the womb? Cheryl ate him. Cheryl ate her triplet in the womb.
That's the thing babies can do.
And the spirit of the child has possessed this doll. Why? Because when they were all born and there was no triplet, Penelope would push around a baby stroller for 3 children and put this doll in the 3rd spot. So now the child is possessed to that doll. Only problem is...
Oh, that's interesting. Its name is Julian.
Yes,
this is bullshit.
Its name is Julian. Turns out Cheryl goes to therapy for many reasons. And by therapy, she just visits the school counselor. She's learning she's being played. So she's like, somebody's playing me. I know what I'll do. I'll gas my entire fucking house with me still inside. Turns out Penelope, who went on the run in season 3, was hiding in the house the whole time and is confronted by Cheryl in a gas mask, which ends the triplet storyline. Is it real? I don't know. Maybe not. Could have been. But also, the story of she ate her triplet in the womb made me laugh. Time to vote.
I like both of these, actually.
I can't believe how much occurs in this show.
Too much.
80 episodes, they shoved these in, and the other, 50 we left off the list.
I gotta go.
I'm gonna go red circle.
Yeah, agreed.
I'll give a point to Cheryl gobbling up her triplet.
Yeah.
Need some gobbling representation here.
All right, we've got a Dave favorite here. It's Archie and the Firefighters.
Can I explain the last part?
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna do. I don't even think I have a picture of the last part. I think I wanted that to be saved.
Yeah, you're gonna need to Google that.
Oh my god.
The farm harvests children's organs. Reason being, Edgar never is the leader, and he harvests them for for eternal youth. He harvests them and he uses that for eternal youth. He does that by sending in his daughter, who's 26, into high schools and finds mentally traumatized people to bring in and harvest their organs. Sadly, it turns out to be all the gay people, which is not a great message for Riverdale.
Oh God.
And also, no one thinks it's weird that it's all high school students and Alice, Betty's mom, the FBI agent. So they're basically harvesting organs from children for youth.
Worth mentioning, one of the wife of this cult leader looks like a high school student, and so is attending the high school as a student, even though she's a fully grown adult.
Yes. I said daughter. It's his wife, who's 26, but is young enough to look like a high school student, and no one questions, and they just let her into high schools.
Yeah.
So she's recruiting all the traumatized kids who happen to be gay.
The school starts to promote the cult as well because the principal's a part of it.
The big reveal of the musical in season 3 is how many people from the cult are actually in the school, and they all start cheering at the end. It's stupid, but yeah. Essentially, at the end of season 3, the cult vanishes, and I will let Dave take over why this is his favorite.
They suddenly show up again in season 4, like kind of out of nowhere, and this is like their end game now at this point. They get everyone in the cult into a bus, and they strap some people onto the front of the bus with plans to drive the bus off a cliff. Meanwhile, the cult leader is up on a roof in a like toy rocket ship. He's dressed as Evel Knievel. I just sent a link for a picture. He's dressed literally as Evel Knievel, and his plan is to take this toy little rocket ship and fly it off to the moon.
Dude,
so good. And what is that up against? It's up against Archie and the Firefighters.
How does it end, though? How does it end?
He's shot in the head by Alice.
Yeah.
In the most anticlimactic thing, as he's getting in the rocket, he's shot in the head.
I forget what happens to the bus.
It stopped.
Then the people strapped to the front of the bus. Yeah.
So how are we all voting for the farm? I mean, how are we all voting?
You know mine.
Voting for the farm. Because the ending.
Going for thirst trap firefighter.
Yeah, Tom. I'm surprised this is so tough.
I'm going to go with the farm as well. The guy dressing up as Duke Kaboom is just too fucking good.
All right, last two I have to explain. And then this is going to fly because now we know everything. It's Cheryl meets her Uncle Daddy. And it's called that because of the dumbest twist ever. And Cheryl digs up her dead brother. So Uncle Daddy is essentially season 1. Jason dies. The whole season is trying to figure out who murdered him. It was Daddy, Clifford Blossom, who kills himself. At the season 2 mid-season finale, Daddy's back. They're reading the dad's will, and there's a ring at the bell, and it's the dad. But at the that's where you end the mid-season. Literally the first thing you find out in the next episode is like, oh no, I'm the long lost brother. Another twin. There's a lot of twins in this show.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Played by the exact same guy.
It's dumb. So essentially what happened is Claudius, which is uncle of Cheryl, is he was estranged from his brother because he was set to inherit the syrup empire that the Blossoms own. And yeah.
Again, that's how the Mothman got covered in syrup.
Yeah.
It's a syrup empire.
Look, the syrup is big. We're not even talking about the speakeasy owned by two 16-year-old kids, and the reason their whiskey's so good is because they put syrup in it. No, that got left off. So Clifford threatens him, tells him, hey, have you ever heard of the Blossom Curse? You got to get out of here. He's threatening him with a shotgun, says, I'll spare your life, but you got to leave. So he leaves. Now Clifford inherits the syrup empire. Clifford dies. Claudius comes back, and now he's kind of getting in with the family. His end goal is essentially kind of to take over the syrup business, and he's partnered with Hiram. The way he dies is he's given a position in the police force with that other guy who arrests Archie. And they learn that, oh, there's a tip. We found Archie. Go get him. But he's jumped by FP, Jughead, and Archie, left in a cell where he kills himself. Also, everyone in the Blossom family just kills himself. he not the best storyline. But this one, also a Blossom storyline, might be a little better. So, as you know, Jason dies before even the first episode happens. The whole first season's figuring out who murdered him. Cheryl grieved. You thought the grieving was over. Season 4 comes, grieving ain't over. Digs up the dead body for hangout sessions. So here she is trying to pick out her outfit with the advice of the corpse of her brother. She's kind of chilling there. And they hang out, and it's like kind of a normal thing. She hangs out with her brother, her grandma, Nana Rose. They all kind of chill there together. Then brother Julian and the doll come in. So that was the scene where she's sitting next to the brother. She was between her two brothers, the two dead brothers. Tony, her girlfriend, is like, hey, I don't like this. I don't like hanging out with all the corpses of your brothers. So they go to therapy, and that's where she finds out it's Penelope kind of pulling the strings from the background, feeding these stories and kind of toying with Cheryl. But then Cheryl's like, I want to give my brother a proper burial. So they put him in a boat, set it on fire, send it down the river as a proper Viking funeral.
Okay.
And those are the Riverdale plot lines that you guys chose.
Fun dead bro.
Choosing dead bro.
Yeah, dead bro.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've heard them all, and we're on to the final 8. We've got the musicals versus everyone joining the Serpents, including the Mad World pole dance.
Musicals.
Musicals still. Yep.
Wow.
I'll go with the Serpents and the pole dance.
I mean, we're also ignoring that Cheryl joined the Serpents because she's a mad fucking archer. Something that is glossed over because that fucking the whole Black Hood plot line isn't in here.
they were starting to set that up. You told me that as well, but when I watched it, I'm like, what are you talking about? Here's all these scenes where she's doing archery.
Not really. It was very poorly set up. She's chased through the halls of her home, and the door opens with her pointing a bow and arrow.
That's not the first time she uses a bow and arrow. That's what you were trying to claim when you told me about this show, but it wasn't.
All right. Julian, what's your vote?
Not as random as musicals, so musicals.
All right. We got the South Side Ride shut down versus tickle fetish porn.
Tickle fetish.
You'll never tickle in this town again.
I'm going to the South Side. Jingle jangle all the way.
It's fetish for me.
Julian.
I got that jangle for the low.
Oh, so it's my first vote. And I think the tickle fetish is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. And it's all culminated that it's turned into a mafia. It's how you'll never tickle in this town again.
What about jingle jangle? It's not the same thing.
Look, it's dumb, but it's a
There's
drug.
some elements of jingle
Yeah,
jangle
but-
in the next entry too. So
Tickle fetish porn. Have you not seen Pornhub and OnlyFans? That
Yeah.
All right, we got us.
shit's pretty regular.
We got us some G&G, the whole 3rd season, versus Archie's Thirst Trap Red Circle.
I'm pretty sure Jingle
G&G.
Jangle exists within G&G.
I'm pretty sure Jingle Jangle also, though. No, it's not part of Archie's Red Circle. It's Griffins and Gargoyles encompasses everything.
I'm voting the same as Tom, G&G.
G&G. Yeah, there's no question.
I really hope that Jingle Jangle is spelled with G's.
No, it's J's.
G&G. No, and the G&G part, I hope it's
G&G
I'll vote
stands,
for it.
by the way, did we mention G&G stands for Griffins and Gargoyles?
My name is in this show, and I don't appreciate it.
All right, Julian and Jerrick, I think I missed you guys.
Yeah, G&G.
I'll give some love to Archie's Red Circle.
The Thirst Trap.
Oh yeah.
All right, we got the farm harvesting children's organs versus Dead Brother Cheryl.
You know my vote.
Yeah, rocket to the moon.
Yeah, market to the moon. Maybe that's where that recent stock stuff they got this from. To the
It was the
moon.
last episode I watched.
Rocket to the moon.
Ended it on a high note.
I'll vote for that as well. Take her to the moon for me.
Julian.
I'm gonna go Dead Bros.
Just Cheryl hanging out with the corpse of her brother, baby.
I think this is the correct final four.
I also think this is the
Makes
correct.
sense.
All right, we got the musicals and we got the tickle fetish porn.
Musicals.
Yeah,
I still gotta go
same.
with musicals.
They're so dumb.
Musicals.
Wow.
I'll give a vote to TFP.
I thought TFP was gonna be the winner. It's so dumb. Griffins and gargoyles, or farm harvesting organs and to the moon. However, these two are season 3. Like everything that happens in these two are what make up season 3.
Yeah. Those are the two big plot lines of season 3.
So you've got
This one's the actual hard vote on this list.
I think it's easy because I think one of these is the reason where I'm like, people need to know. One of these has a better ending. Oh, I don't know. This one has the ending where they poison the children and put them on.
I just need to reiterate, people were strapped to a bus to be driven off a cliff while the cult leader was flying to the moon in a fake rocket ship, dressed as Evel Knievel.
Everyone is poisoned of the main characters, has to go through trials to earn the antidote, and Archie's is fighting a man dressed as a bear.
I'm going with G&G.
I'm going farm harvesting children's organs.
I think I'm gonna go with G&G.
Oh. It's a toss-up between these two for me, so I'll give Andy the vote, and I'll go with farm harvesting.
I've already said, if it wasn't for G&G, I would not be as into Riverdale. This fucking thing is so stupid that Riverdale now can't do what they did here. Although season 5 is kind of getting there. So yeah, I vote for G&G. It's that fucking stupid. I
just want to say that the rocket ship thing in a show, in an absurd show, that specifically stands out as something they've never even reached the peak of.
Fly to the moon.
It comes out of nowhere. They're literally like, we need to end this plot line that is dangling from the previous season.
All right, got a finals.
Yeah, we've got the musicals. We've got Dungeons and Dragons. I just want to reiterate that the best part of the Dungeons and Dragons is that the parents of the kids, played by the kids' actors, dressed up in medieval garb and broke into the school and did a bunch of drugs and played Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm going G&G, but the musicals.
I gotta go with
really
the musicals.
dumb.
No, yeah, because I'm sticking with that because this is the worst and it just doesn't go with the show.
I agree. I'm definitely going to go with the musicals because while we're all enjoying Griffins and Gargoyles, it's politely interrupted by some stupid-ass musical that has nothing to do with anything.
Question about the musical. How long are they? They're not the
Whole
entire
episode.
The entire episode. They wake up in the morning and start singing.
Whole episode.
Fuck. I thought it was like a 5-10 minute, like one second.
No, it is the entire fucking episode. The first musical, they have an entire song singing backstage about performing the musical.
It's not even a plot.
My vote was G&G for what it's worth. That's the best.
This was the correct final four.
That's a first for this podcast. We've all got the correct final four.
I mean, yeah. That's it. That's Riverdale. There are so many things that we didn't talk about that could have easily been on this list.
Boy, I almost want to talk about those things.
No, you don't.
Now we'll never have to ever talk about this ever again, right?
No, yeah.
Hey, can't wait till we talk about anime next week. I'll be the stick in the mud.
You love anime, shut up.
Certain ones. I don't think I'm going to be a fan of the one we're talking about.
The plus of Riverdale is because I watched Riverdale, we watched more anime. So because of Riverdale, the Miyasek house has been corrupted with anime. So
Yeah. There's some good animes out there. Maybe not the ones that we'd all agree on. Yeah, fuck your Evangelion.
No more Riverdale.
Evangelion was a trip.
Riverdale canceled.
Nope. It got renewed for season 6 before season 5 aired, baby.
Dave, what you said you finished Riverdale with the the farm plotline. That was the end of season 3, right?
Yeah.
No, so that's like a couple episodes into 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so
he
you
watched
stopped.
up to
That
like
was your
episode.
part.
And I was done with it before then. And honestly, that plot line is the best thing that happened in that entire show. Like that specific ending. So I ended it on a high note, and I'm never returning.
Here's the thing.
Nobody should watch this show.
Riverdale falls between where Dave and I say he's too critical. I praise it stupid too much. There's a lot of people watch it because it's so absurd.
It is 35 minutes of the most boring shit you've ever seen for like 5 minutes of good in every episode. And then like at the end of the season, then it's a good episode for the most part. But
you need
boring.
Dave doesn't like conversational drama. All the conversations tie together. Oh, we lost Tom. I think he had to go though. That's okay. He was here for the whole thing. We could close it out too.
I totally forgot that Tom had to leave earlier.
Yeah, all good.
Right, so we found out that the dumbest Riverdale plotline was the musicals, which show up in almost every season and last for the entire damn episode. That's awful. I'm sorry. I'm glad. I hope no other like TV show does this. They all learned their lesson. All right, this was fun. I'm not gonna watch Riverdale. No, I don't think Julian's gonna watch Riverdale. I don't think Tom's gonna watch
Actually,
Riverdale.
you know what? You know what? I'm gonna watch it.
Skip season 1. That's my advice.
Don't skip season 1.
Skip.
You need a foundation.
You have to suffer. You have to suffer. You have to
Season 1,
understand.
where like all these kooky plot lines that come in, they don't come in season 1. There's nothing fun.
Yeah, you have to realize that even once the kooky plot lines come in, it's still as boring as season 1 was.
No. Dave's too critical.
Gotta watch it.
Well, if you do, go let us know in future podcasts if you're enjoying it
Dave
or
isn't
not.
that critical. I'm not gonna. He's not that critical.
Are you kidding me?
I agree that part of why I'm critical of it is because it was overhyped to me, but I also just don't think it's as good as people say. I don't think it's good. And I don't think it's good in a bad way. I love bad movies. This does not even reach.
No. We're going to have to agree to disagree.
All right, we are disagreeing to agree here on Bracket Up.
Love it.
Kevin Kairos, Dark Betty Holloway, John Griffin, and Archie Mysek. I am Hiram Dandy Andy Jerrick. We will see you next week from Riverdale.